Welcome. In this very short video, I introduce to you the Carbon Risk Real Estate Monitor, a research project that is financed by the European Union in the Horizon 2020 program. The aim of CRREM, as we shorten the Carbon Risk Real Estate Monitor, is to help you reduce stranding risk exposure. Let me first explain what stranded assets are and stranding risk is. Because we have climate change to contend with, we have promised in Paris to make sure that we will decarbonize. Also, the real estate market will have to decarbonize because we have a lot of greenhouse gas emissions in the real estate industry. Properties that are not aligning with future regulations in order to decarbonize will become stranded assets because they no longer are in sync with the future demand and regulations. And that is when you get stranded asset risk. That sounds very logical, but that needs to be calculated to become very concrete. But it is a must because at the current pace of usage of energy in the real estate market, we will have only 14 years left before 2050 with the current use. We need to reduce our energy use in order to make sure that the greenhouse gas budgets that have been allocated to real estate will last until 2050 instead of 2036. So we know one thing for sure, we need to decarbonize as a real estate market, and we need to do that better than we have done in the past few years. And that will have a consequence for you and your portfolio. And CRREM will help you to guide you through this process. When I talk about CRREM, it's a coalition of 5 organizations, the IEU, the Immobilieninstitut of Österreich. We also have GRESP on board, and then we have 3 academic institutions, Ulster University, Alicante University, and Tilburg University, TIAS, the business school. So researchers from these 5 organizations cooperate to make a framework, and I will show you what we have to offer. First is we help you formulate and translate science-based targets. So climate change is a very big theme and the Paris Agreement is known, but what does it mean exactly for you as a property user or owner? And this is what we do. We're going to make very clear targets, and that we do in 3 steps. We take the global targets that are written in Paris to make sure that the heating of climate will be limited to 2 degrees Celsius, and we're going to translate the global to the European target. Then in the next step, we're going to take from the European target country-specific commercial real estate targets so that we know exactly in your market, let's say you're a German office owner, what does this mean for your German office exposure? And in the last step, we're going to also even translate that into property-specific targets. So in this case, the German real estate market into the office buildings that you are active in. So that translation is very important because you read the headlines in the newspaper, but what does it mean to you as an owner? And then, to become very concrete, we create a framework and a tool that help you answer the question, how long do I have before my property or portfolio will be exposed to stranding risk? For that, I show you the figure next to me. On the vertical axis, you'll see the greenhouse gas emission intensity, and we plot your asset as an example. The green line on top that is sloping down will be regulations. Currently, you have an intensity that is in line and below the regulations, but at some point in time regulations become more stringent and more ambitious, and then you will hit the green line, and that is the moment in which your property will be exposed to stranded asset risk. If you don't change the building, it will become obsolete. Then you can do a retrofit to make sure that the property will become more efficient, for instance, in energy use. And then you will have a couple of years left before you again have the second point that you have stranding risk again. We can help you calculate how many years do you have until the first point, and also we help you to guide through these retrofit decisions. That is what CRREM has to offer. So we also look at these retrofit effects, and that we do in multiple ways. We're going to look at how big should the retrofit be, what is the benefit of the retrofit in energy use, but also in economic sense. So these kind of questions will also be answered in the CRREM project. If you want to know more about the details of CRREM and look at our progress, please visit our website at www.crrem.eu. You will find the newest reports, and we recommend to read the public report that has been published recently. Thank you for your attention.